Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. See if I have better luck than yesterday. Okay, it was a bit of a rough start, but it starts to start. Cat's out of the way. Okay, what happened yesterday was quite simple. The day before I tried to boost the Ford, right, and the fan belt, one of the pulleys on the Ford, that just my brake thing dinging. I know I mentioned it every time, but people say, dude, do you see something about the dinging? Anyway, yeah, that hard start on the Ford where the fan belt was moving, but there were most of the pulleys were, there was only like one pulley moving. A couple others weren't. Killed the battery. And I didn't think it completely killed the battery. I figured there'd be a lot of juice left. So yesterday when I went to start, guess what happened? Well, I had no battery juice left. So it was a bad start to the morning yesterday. Had to get my buddy Paul to come and get me. So we worked yesterday. So it was a good day, but a bad start to the day, that's all. So I got this on. See if I'm going to catch this thing in the act, so to speak. Hopefully it doesn't do it too badly, but I don't know who that is, but I'm sitting there waiting. Yeah, so I'm just off to another client now. Man, when things take off for me, I know you hear me griping and whining all the time about my season, no money, blah blah blah, but then it's just kind of like an all or none kind of thing with, like, we've got a saying in the countryside: if you don't know what you're doing today, somebody else does. It's like, oh yeah, you're doing this for me now. And guys, I don't normally ask for pity. I really don't. I'm not that kind of a guy. But today I'm going to ask you for pity. I want you to feel very, very badly for me, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's kind of good news and bad news. Good news is I just landed a good seasonal, repetitive, bi-weekly contract. $25 an hour, not bad, right? So that's good. You can be happy for me for that. But now let me tell you what it's doing. If you have little children, maybe tuck them away now. If you're easily frightened, you may want to cover your ears. What's going on here? Running a little rough there. Yeah, so here's why you have to be about there. See, it's doing it. It's running rough. I don't know if it's going to conk out or not. Hopefully not. Can you hear the roughness? See the engine lights flashing? That's not good. It's getting worse, progressively worse. So there, see, it picked up a bit. Now all my cylinders are functioning again. The engine light's flashing, so it's missing somewhere. I could feel the miss. Now the engine light's off and it's normal. Whoa, watch my speed. But see, that's what it does. That's what I've been trying to catch. Like, I can still feel it missing a little bit though. So that's the EGR valve doing its thing, that it's doing the thing it's not supposed to be doing. Yeah. And anyway, so getting back to what I was saying, yeah, you guys remember, if you follow the channel, I talked about the ditch of doom. Yeah, well, it looks like I got that contract. I'm going to be starting it next. I'm too busy this week to do it. Okay, don't conk out, don't conk out, don't conk out, don't conk out, don't conk out. I'm too busy to do it this week, so it's going to be real nasty when I do it next week for sure. Now, it's hard to tell if the engine's running rough because I'm on the rough road. But see, right now the engine's running okay. Like, I don't feel any misses. Because you can feel it. You can feel when the engine misses. You could feel it in the wheel, right? You can feel that just little hesitation there. But you see what it did? Normally the engine light comes on for a bit, then it starts to miss, and then the engine light flashes. But see, that one, it flashed, but it did it the other day. Now, of course, yeah, so good news is I got five clients for this year. The bad news, I got to get this thing fixed so that I can rely on it, right? Because I can't be, you know, like driving around cheating death like that. You know, when that engine goes out on a corner like this, like I've already nearly died on this road twice with this thing. Because you can't control the steering. The summer tires aren't as bad as the studded winter tires, but they're still pretty heavy, you know. So see, like now, like the truck's perfect right now. So it doesn't do it all the time. Now, the only last things I got to check for my EGR valve is what do we do for time? Doing okay for time, I think. Watch the speed. Watch the speed. Is check the grounds last, and that'll just tell me, like, the idea is I'm trying to isolate it so that all the codes I got are not faulty codes, because sometimes you can get a faulty code saying, yeah, it's this, but it's really something else, right? And the code I don't want is the 600 codes, which tells you it's an ECM, which is your engine control management, or management control, or EMC or whatever. Yeah, that's just, that dinging doesn't, that's okay. That one's okay. So far everything, the voltage isolates back to the yeah. I know my brakes are bad. I get it. Well, the brakes ain't bad. It's just the brake master caliper thing. So my emergency brake isn't on. That's some master caliper sensor. It's been like that since I bought the truck. I mean, there's things to do on this truck. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, so I'm trying to isolate, make sure that when I do replace that valve, that there's not, you know, I'm gonna, oh good, I got the valve done, and then all of a sudden it does it again, right? And it's like, okay, wasn't it? I don't want to throw money at the problem, because it's not about the money, it's about the fix, right? I want to make sure I'm fixing what I'm supposed to be fixing. Yeah. There. But again, it doesn't do it all the time, right? So, but you saw what it did there. I don't know if you saw very well, because I don't know how well I got my GoPro angled, but the engine light was flashing. You could hear it misfiring. It's not as bad as it sometimes gets. It doesn't always conk out. Like, it's only conked out, I think, twice, but it's come close several times. But sometimes it'll do it, and then it'll go away. You hit the right pothole and it bounces back into working again. That's one thing about Quebec roads. If you want to find out if you have any shorts or anything in your system, just drive down a Quebec road. If you you want to fix the shorts in the system, drive down a Quebec road. It might shake everything back into normal. It's hard to say, right? Yeah, but I'm gonna check. I found most of the ground strapping locations on the truck. I'm sure there's some that I don't know where they are, but I'm gonna test all those too. Test all your grounds, guys. Start with that, because like bad grounding, and I know some of my commenters have been talking about it too. You know, like bad grounds are responsible for a lot of stuff. Like most of the cars you see in the scrapyard, it's a wiring issue. You know, it's like, oh no, this is worn out, that's worn out. Like, if you got a truck with top solid wiring with like 400,000 kilometers on it, very rarely does the mechanical stuff get you. You know what I mean? Like, it does, but you know, like very rarely. I mean, this is a 16-year-old truck with I know it says 200,000, but the truck actually has closer to 300 and something on it, or has over 300 on it. So this is a very high mileage engine, right? But if it's well taken care of, you'd be surprised how far, like, these are million-mile engines if you take care of them right. But most people don't take care of their vehicles, right? They buy them new. You're lucky if they do an oil change every 5 years. You know what I mean? That said, there is a garage I can finally take this to, and the guy's going to be able to get that drain bolt off for me. It's going to be about 120 bucks to change the oil just to get the drain bolt off. So probably around, it's 70 bucks normal, but it'll probably be about 120 to 150 depending on how much they fight with that that drain bolt. Eh? Well, anyway, I'm pretty much where I gotta go. So yeah, it's this corner I nearly died on the last time, but at least I caught it in the action for you guys. So if you've ever experienced that that symptom, but again, it's not normally the way it does. It usually doesn't just go right to engine flashing. I don't like that kind of progression in the of things. Usually the engine light comes on, sometimes the engine light will come on, go off a few times, sometimes it'll stay on for a week, other times the engine light like this just goes right off, and then sometimes the engine light will come on, then it'll start flashing and running rough, and then it'll conk out, right? So there's something there, but I just want to make sure it's not a wire, because like it's a solenoid, right? So they can jam, they can do all kinds of funny things, right? But anyway, there we go.